So, as Ray was just saying, my name is Jonathan Naber, and I am a senior here in the College of Engineering at the University of Illinois, studying material science and engineering. Who here is studying material science and engineering? Okay, a handful, not as many as the first time. But before we get started, I need 5 volunteers. I'll take the first 5 people that come up. Just come on up. Okay, so what I need each of you guys to do is tell me what passions are you engaging in engineering school? What brought you to engineering school? And don't just tell me, but tell the audience. And your name beforehand too, if you can.
My name's Irtafa. I don't you don't get that because it's pretty difficult. I joined engineering because I want to do innovate stuff, invent something, do something for the people, something new, and open a business probably when I graduate.
Fantastic.
That's my intention.
Great, thank you. Okay.
I am Brandon, DEI, and I am a computer engineer. I joined engineering at Illinois because I actually have some ideas that, well, but I'm saving them until I learn more about engineering. Yes.
Hi, I'm Shugo Tanaka, and I'm a computer engineer. And I want to learn exactly how computers work down to the very basics, and then also create new technologies that never existed before.
I'm Jack too, and I joined engineering primarily because I like to solve problems, and I think engineering is a great way for me to get harder and more exciting problems to solve.
I'm Andrea Fitzpatrick, and I joined engineering because I love finding out how things work, and I would like to figure out how things work and build things make, and it's such a thrill when they actually work right, and even when they don't, but they do something you don't expect, and then you're like, oh yeah, did something interesting.
Awesome. Fantastic. Even when it wasn't. Okay, fantastic. Well, everybody give them a round of applause. So, as I was saying, I am a senior here in the College of Engineering, and I've led a bit of an unconventional path through my university career. And I'm going to be kind of telling a little bit about my story today to make a couple points that I'm trying to make. But today the subject of this discussion is power. And when we think about power in the classic physics sense, we think about work divided by time. So force times distance divided by units of time. When we think about it from an electrical sense, we might think of electrical power. We saw the storm last night. Lightning, yeah. Okay, we might think about legal power, the power of an attorney, the power to make a decision. Or from a more philosophical, introspective sense, we might think about the power that something has on an aspect of our life. And that's where we're going to be focused today. I'm going to be talking about the power of 2 things on your life as an engineering student and as a future engineering professional. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the power of one idea. 3 years ago, I was in your shoes. I was an incoming freshman in the College of Engineering, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew that I liked math and science, I liked the idea of engineering, and I wanted to help out people with whatever I did. I wanted to solve real-world problems. That's the joy of engineering, right? That's why we all got into engineering in the first place. Whether you wanted to make a better iPod or whatever you wanted to do, you wanted to go out and solve problems, and that's what I was there for. But I wasn't really quite sure how I was going to do it. And I went through my entire freshman year working hard in class, getting good grades, and by the end of my freshman year, I stepped back and realized that I hadn't really dug into the community here. I hadn't been involved and as engaged as I should have been. And I was working a research internship after my freshman year at Washington University in St. Louis. And I was doing computational fluid dynamics research. Who knows what that is? Okay, 1 person, 2 people, okay. So I was modeling the flow of air over a semi-truck in a computer program. And it's kind of neat to talk about, but I wasn't really passionate about what I was doing, even though it did make an impact eventually by our research getting out there. And every day I'd come home from work and I really wanted to do something else, something that would impact people around the world, something that could potentially change the world. And I examined myself. I knew that I liked working with people with disabilities. I've worked with people with disabilities in my family and friends. And I knew that I wanted to work in the developing world because the world is so wide outside of the developed West. And there are so many people living in poverty and destitution around the world who need our assistance as engineers. And our job is to solve problems as engineers. So I put all of these interests together and I had this idea: what if we provide prosthetic arms to people in the developing world at an affordable cost? And it seems like kind of a random topic to come up with, kind of a random tangent to go off on. But it was really compounded out of my interests and my concerns and my dreams for what could be if we employed some good engineering practices. And this idea really came up because I knew that there were 25 million people around the world who are missing one or more of their limbs due to accidents, war, landmines, disease. The list goes on, but the prognosis for these people is the same. And that is that they cannot return to their normal level of activity, their normal level of everyday life, until they're given a proper, affordable prosthetic arm replacement. So I set out to create that affordable prosthetic arm replacement. And that idea is an idea that changed my life. It changed the life of several engineering students that I've worked with, and it changed the lives of some Guatemalans that we worked with this summer that I'll tell you about in just a moment. That is the power of one idea. But what I've learned is that even more powerful than one idea is the power of a team of engineers united in one idea. You see, in August of 2008, 2 years ago this month, I returned from my sophomore year of college, and I decided that this time I was going to be engaged. This time I was going to make a difference. And I built a team around my vision of providing these affordable prosthetic arms. And this team was a group of people that I met in engineering classes my freshman year. And that's why it's so important that every one of you, before you leave this pavilion today, knows the name and major of the person next to you and gets to know them a little bit. Because the people sitting next to you, they could be on the board of the company that you start this year. They could be in your study session at 4 a.m. in Granger Engineering Library, which will happen, I guarantee you. You never know where these people can take you and where you can take these people. But I built this team around this idea, and we started to get to work. And it started out slow. We started researching all of the prosthetic arms that are currently available. And eventually we started building working prototypes. And we built everything from a computer-controlled prosthetic hand to prosthetic arms that were made out of recycled materials. Things that were made out of Taco Bell cups, wooden dowel rods, and cardboard. And we built a whole variety of things. And people started to realize what we were doing. We started to build rapport. And as Dr. Price was saying, in March we were awarded the 2010 MIT Lemelson Student Prize, which was a $30,000 cash prize awarding us for innovation. And we put that prize back into our work. But even beyond the money that we were able to receive for our project, we built a lot of press and rapport. I interviewed with Scientific American, the Chicago Sun-Times. I talked to Popular Science. I met the president of Ecuador. Things started happening very quickly and clustering up. And we started to build a lot of press and a lot of acclaim for what we were doing. And just last month, we finally tested the first 3 concept prosthetic arms that we had developed in a product development process in Guatemala at a clinic that we had partnered with. We set up the entire trip, we went to Guatemala, and we tested these 3 concept arms with 7 different patients that we had worked with. And these patients had lost their arms from electrical accidents, from machete attacks, from automobile accidents. We worked with everybody from a 6-year-old girl who had just lost her arm in a truck accident to a 43-year-old man who had been attacked with a machete. And we were able to fit these prosthetic arms to these users, or patients I should call them, and we saw them write their names and tie their shoelaces with the prosthetic arms that we gave them. This was an amazing, powerful experience to see this technology that we had developed over the past 2 years actually used with real people in the developing world. And this didn't just happen because I had one idea and I was one engineer. It happened because I built a team around this concept. The people on my team come from all different experiences, all different pasts. I have a product developer, a chief of engineering, a patient relations officer, and I'm the president. And we all work together from a very different aspect, but we're all united in this one vision. And we have plans within the next year to conduct 2 more product development iterations. We're hoping to go to Ecuador in January of 2011 and back to Guatemala to follow up with the same patients in July of next year. So it's a very exciting time for us, and we're hoping to do this full time when we graduate, to travel the world and provide these prosthetic arms to the various amputees around the world. There are literally millions of people who need what we hope to soon be able to offer. This is the power of a team behind an idea. But today is not at all about what I'm doing. It's not about me. It's not about my vision. It's about each of you, because this is iLaunch. You guys are here today because you are the best of the best. You got into the University of Illinois you got into the College of Engineering, and you got into the IFX program. That is absolutely fantastic, and I'm envious that I wasn't able to experience this 3 years ago, because I think it would have changed the game for me. You have an amazing amount of resources at your fingertips, and the sky is the limit for you. Every single one of you sitting in this auditorium today has the chance to go out and change the world with an idea you might come up with. And these ideas can be anything. You might dream of a better recipe for Coca-Cola. You might come up with a new business model to sell shoes. You might make a prosthetic arm that puts me out of business. I welcome that competition, but the point is that every idea that you come up with, and you will come up with hundreds over the next years, is valuable, it's relevant, and you need to analyze it. And even more than that, you're going to meet thousands of people over the next 4 years. Literally thousands of people from all different pasts and with all different futures. Build a network within that. Maintain your relationships and your friendships. Because you not only need to build a team around you when you're starting a nonprofit organization like me or starting a new technology venture, but you also need that team when you go out into the workplace, when you go into consulting or investment banking, whatever it is that you may do. You need to build that team around you and around the ideas that you are going to use to innovate the world and create change. I'm so excited to see where all of you are going to go from today. I really believe that every single one of you will change the world with the ideas that you come up with. And I would absolutely love to meet all of you, so please come up and introduce yourselves afterwards. And that's all I've got. Thank you so much.